we head indoors at the Coliseum at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin, as the final day of the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games rolls on. Back-to-back events for the women, Ringer 1 and Ringer 2. Second and final heat of Ringer 1 is underway. It's Bethany Shadburn who has the top time, 5:38.21 seconds, 120 scored repetitions in this event.
And this is the pace you want to see these athletes go at because they don't have a choice. Katrin Davidsdottir sitting in fifth, being chased down by Haley Adams, within striking distance of the podium after nearly being cut yesterday. This is who benefits the most, having two back-to-back events like this.
And Davidsdottir right now is through 10 of those initial 30 calories. Kristen Holte 3 back, followed by Pierce Green. Toomey right now in 5th place.
And Holte is actually one of those athletes that do not benefit from an event like this, especially dealing with the assault bike, just because of her size. Size matters when it comes to the assault bike, especially power output. Davidsdottir, Tia Claire Toomey, Barnhart, those are ones that can take advantage of the bike. Holte, it's going to be a little bit of damage control because everyone's going to hang on to the ring. So the advantage that she would have is negated by how simple those toes to rings are.
Katrin Davidsdottir is creeping closer now to that 30 rep mark where she will move on to the toes to rings. Her judge's hand is in the air. She's through 26 of those 30 and she is leaving everybody behind her. Carrie Pierce now in second, closest to the camera.
And how many times have we seen Katrin Davidsdottir get her back against the wall and then come out swinging when she gets back to the Coliseum?
So Davidsdottir's done with her 30 calories and now on to her 30 toes to rings. At the 60 rep mark, she'll be done with round 1 and she'll move forward. 20 calories on the assault bike after this, but she is the only woman on her rings right now. She's already 7 reps in.
At the very start, you saw her actually try to push the pace of the toes to rings. You can't actually do that. In movements like this, to me, they have a capped time frame, a lot like wall balls and kettlebell swings, is that you can't actually make this movement faster because of the rings. So if you try to go faster, all you do is make it harder. Just hang onto the rings, do them unbroken, and your pace and intensity needs to be saved for the bikes.
Davidsdottir right now is 8 reps away from finishing up round number 1. Carrie Pierce is in second, followed by Holte. Tia Toomey has moved into 4th, but she and Jamie Green are close for that 4th place spot in the second and final heat. Back-to-back events here, events 10 and 11, and this is Ringer 1, Ringer 2 coming up after this. Davidsdottir's done, back to the bike for 20 calories.
I'm not saying destroy yourself on the 20, but don't be afraid of the 20. We still have overhead squats to do, so you could put yourself in a bad place. Keep pushing the pace, put more upper body into the bike. People forget, those handles aren't armrests for your hands. No, you can actually put a lot of extra power into the bike if you use your arms. Push, pull, help the legs out on the assault bike.
Davidsdottir is more than halfway through this event at 68, now 69 repetitions and counting, 120 total. Carrie Pierce, 6 reps back of her in second. Kristen Holte is in third, and it's Toomey and Jamie Green battling for 4th. The time to beat again, 5:38.21 seconds, belongs to Bethany Shadburn. Did that in the first of these 2 heats.
Now it's actually a little surprising to see is that Tia Green and Holte all moved to the bikes at the same time. I would have assumed Tia would be up a little closer towards the front.
The Davidsdottir score says she is done, but she is obviously still on the bike, so some work left to do for her. She has 20 toes to rings. After this, she is done, and she will be the first woman back to the rings.
There's no other option for Katrin Davidsdottir. If you want a shot at the podium, you have to win events. There's no other game plan, there's no other strategy. You have to go out there and win. In my opinion, Katrin is best when you take options away from her and it says you have to win. Not do your best, not stay in your lane. Win this event at all costs.
She's trying to chase down Carrie Pierce, and again, she's 40 points back of Pierce, so Pierce is just trying to stay close so she doesn't surrender too much ground. And here comes Tia Toomey, Kristen Holte right beside her as well, but Katrin Davidsdottir now through 100 of the 120 total repetitions, and she's going back to the bike for the final time. 10 calories, then 10 toes to rings, and then a sprint across the finish line.
Here's where the massive benefit is in going second, because you know what the time is, you're leading your heat. Don't kill yourself on these 10 if you don't have to, just to beat the time to beat.
Davidsdottir now with 5 calories to go. Carrie Pierce just finished her second set of toes to rings, and she is on the bike as well. So Pierce trying to stay close with David's daughter. Toomey and Holta to the bike at the same time. And now Jamie Green joining them. Those are your top 3 athletes in the middle of the floor. Green, Toomey, Holta, and then Carrie Pierce closest to the camera.
Actually very impressed how Holta is sticking with the champ, Tia Claire.
38 seconds to go before we hit the time to beat. Catherine Davidsdottir looking like she's going to smash that. So Catherine Davidsdottir doing work. The sled dog wins event 10.
Huge, huge event for Catherine Davidsdottir.
So 5:38 is now second place. Carrie Pierce has to start thinking about beating that time, so she only surrenders 10 points to Catherine Davidsdottir. Toomey and Green on the rings, and here comes Kristen Holta. She's on the right.
Holta is actually cycling a little bit faster than Tia Claire Toomey, keeping those knees tucked.
And Carrie Pierce just fell off. That means Bethany Shadburn is going to take second. Green and Toomey come across. Holta will take third. Toomey gets fourth. And here comes Carrie Pierce. So Pierce, because of that fall, may watch her lead disappear as far as Catherine Davidsdottir is concerned. So Davidsdottir was in 5th coming in, Pierce was in 4th. Davidsdottir needed to make up 40 points, and she may have just done it.
That was very, very close. If she's not, she's only 10 points behind because Pierce dropped her grip starting to go. And as each athlete swung in, 10, 20, 30 points.
Carrie Pierce is going to finish 7th in that event, which means she earns 40 points. So Davidsdottir just picked up 60 on her. That lead is now gone for Carrie Pierce over Catherine Davidsdottir.
Look how smooth and relaxed Catherine Davidsdottir is on the rings, and that is what you actually want to see with this particular movement, is not trying to make it too hard, and that's what you saw from Carrie Pierce. I think you saw her fall right there, just belly flopping right on the mat, and that had a lot to do with her grip,
right,
just being smoked.
And Kristen Holta beats Tia Toomey across the finish line, so Holta will be able to slightly cut into Toomey's 100, now 25-point lead, as unofficially the standings have updated after Catherine Davidsdottir wins. Shadburn finishes second, Holta, and then Toomey. So Holta now trails Toomey unofficially by 125 points. Jamie Green sits in 3rd, but now she is only 47 up on Davidsdottir.
And how much did we say, who are the athletes that are going to throw wrenches into the system that can make moves for people on the leaderboard? Shadburn, Adams, getting ahead of Green while Catherine's taking an event win.
And Bethany Shadburn has now jumped into 6th place overall.
Jamie Green looked rough after that event, and we were talking about overhead squats coming up with such a light weight. You need speed when it comes to this. I'm not sure if she's going to have it.
Catherine Davidsdottir at the top of your screen tracks down Carrie Pierce in the last event. Now she turns her sights to Jamie Green, who is 47 points ahead of her in the overall standings and who currently occupies the final spot on the podium. 60 total repetitions in this event. We start with those 15 burpees or rings, and Davidsdottir, top of your screen, is off to a great start.
She is blasting through this, and this is what this event demands for. When you look at it on paper, this event isn't hard to do. In fact, a lot of the movements are, you would say, simple, borderline easy. So what does that mean? You need to fully send the event. You have no other option but go, and Catherine Davidsdottir is doing exactly that.
Well, Davidsdottir just picked up her first event win of the competition. You think back to the first time when she won the CrossFit Games, her only event win came on the final day. But Davidsdottir moves on. She's onto the overhead squats. Jamie Green sits in 2nd, followed by Toomey, Holta, and Pierce. Here comes Jamie Green and Tia Toomey, but Catherine Davidsdottir is in the lead at the 30 mark. She will move on for round number 2 and perform 10 burpees to the rings.
Can't tell you the importance of pushing the round of 15. When you're done with 15, the event is halfway over. There's not enough reps towards the second half because of those breaks to make up. So you actually need to throttle down on the 15 to get ahead of the rest of the field.
Kristen Holta starting her overhead squats. Davidsdottir continues to move at a frantic pace. And now 10 burpees to rings for the former 2-time CrossFit Games champion, who we said earlier, she's still in the running here. Carrie Pierce, meanwhile, struggling as she finishes up her first set of burpees to rings. And you wonder, maybe she got the wind knocked out of her during that fall.
If she didn't get the wind knocked out of her, She is a much tougher human being than I have ever seen, because the way she hit that mat was devastating.
And now a no rep for for David's daughter. She fixes that, gets back to the barbell, now 10 overhead squats. Toomey is in second and Jamie Green is in third. Jamie Green needs to think about hanging as close as she can to Catherine David's daughter to not surrender as many points. Now remember, there is another heat that has already gone. Those times may be a factor here.
Tell you what, this event couldn't have lined up better for Catherine David's daughter. What fatigue movement would you like to do when you're at your worst? An overhead squat. This is Catherine David's daughter is taking advantage of the opportunity that she's been given.
The David's daughter's done. Now 5 burpees to the rings. The time to beat belongs to Amanda Barnhart, 3:06.76. And I don't think that's going to be a problem right now for Catherine David's daughter as she looks to pick up her second straight and second total win of this competition. Carrie Pierce, meanwhile, is in 5th, and she's struggling. No struggle, though, for David's daughter. 5 final repetitions for her. Final rep for David's daughter. 2 for 2 for Catherine. 2 wins, 200 points inside the Coliseum. Tia Toomey is well ahead of the 2 women behind her on the overall leaderboard. The Toomey looking to now finish 3rd in this event, as Barnhart's time of 3:06 is going to be good enough for 2nd. So Toomey is in, she'll take 3rd place, but she will not surrender any ground to either Kristen Holte or Jamie Green. But Catherine David's daughter is now creeping up in that race for the podium. Jamie Green.
Gee, very impressed how Green bounced back from what she looked like after 10. I didn't think that she'd do a single overhead squat.
Jamie Green is across the finish line. Green will take 3rd in this heat. That's 6th in the event. Now here comes Kristen Holte. 1 more for Holte. Holte is in. She'll take 7th place in the event. So once again, Tia Toomey is going to widen her lead on 2nd place, Kristen Holte. Things getting tighter in the battle for the podium for the women. Now, Carrie Pierce is the only woman left on the floor. Now, this is where you have to start thinking, I know there's another heat. You want to get in, but is the effort now worth it for her?
I mean, for her, based off her finishing place, no, I don't think she really has a choice, even if she wanted to go hard, because whatever she did in event 10 is either red line too hard or that fall off the rings took its toll on her.
There was not a lot of time for her to recover from that fall, and she still has a set of burpees and a set of overhead squats remaining here. It's Catherine David's daughter. Perfect inside the Coliseum today. Wins ringer 1, wins ringer 2. Her first 2 event wins of the competition. And she picks up 200 points in the process, and she has vaulted up the leaderboard, and she will be a factor in the battle for the podium.
3, 2, 1.
And that's going to do it for Carrie Pierce. So she will hit the cap. Pierce will finish 10th out of 10 in the event. Costly fall for Carrie Pierce, but Catherine David's daughter, 2 wins and 2 huge wins for her, as she has now unofficially moved into 3rd place overall by just 3 points over Jamie Green.
I mean, you were almost left for dead coming into Saturday morning, squeaked in after the sprint, and you are taking full advantage, not just being a top 5, but possibly a podium spot.
2 wins for David's daughter right now. She sits in 3rd place overall.
200 points at this point in the game could be a complete game changer. How were you able to find a pace that you could maintain to take the win on both of those back-to-back events?
We take a lot of pride in working very hard in the gym. We do a lot of interval stuff, and where I go as hard as I possibly can, and I trust that I will recover. And before we came out here, my coach told me this is what we do. And I closed my eyes, and it was like in the gym. This is what we do. Work really hard and trust that we can do it all over again.
You close your eyes, put your head down, get the work in. I mean, at this point in the entire weekend, after everything you've been through, is it harder to go to that dark place, or with the podium in sight, is it even more of a fight?
I have nothing to lose. I'm here to fight.
Congratulations.
Thanks.